When the physical world collapses, the immediate focus is naturally on survival, navigating the rubble, finding shelter, and securing a safe place to sleep. But there is an invisible collapse happening at the exact same time. This scale represents our psychological equilibrium. A crisis occurs when the sudden, massive demands of a threatening situation completely outweigh a person's internal resources to cope with them. In this state, adults experience severe physical and emotional shocks. It manifests as sudden memory fog, intense stomach pain, rapid heart rates, and overwhelming panic attacks. Children standing in that same rubble, clinging to whatever small comfort they have left, experience the impact differently. They lack the context to process the danger, so their distress surfaces through behavioral regression, sudden isolation, uncontrollable hyperactivity, or bedwetting. Parents instinctively want to act as a shield for their kids. However, you cannot provide a safe harbor for someone else if you have lost your own internal footing. The human nervous system flares bright red here as it enters an acute state of alarm. These intense physical symptoms are a biological survival mechanism, a mobilization of the body's internal defenses to face an immediate threat. If the body remains locked in this high alert state for too long, it leads to hormonal exhaustion, chronic sleep deprivation, and psychosomatic illnesses where mental stress creates real physical pain. To stop this cycle, an adult must draw a clear line between what they can control and what they cannot. You cannot control the war, the politics, or the displacement. You can, however, control your immediate sensory reality, pulling a panicked mind back into the present physical moment. This diagram breaks down the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 to touch, 3 to hear, 2 to smell, and 1 to taste. Once the physical body is anchored, you can identify the internal state. By explicitly naming the emotion out loud, saying, "I am feeling anger," or "I am feeling guilt," you reduce its subconscious grip on your nervous system. Securing this psychological oxygen mask through physical grounding and emotional clarity is a biological prerequisite for helping a child. Look at the tension in this room. Parents often try to hide their fear by telling their children there is nothing to be afraid of, even while their own body language is frantic and erratic. This animation shows why that strategy fails. Children determine their safety by mirroring your nervous system. If you are operating on a chaotic, terrified frequency, they absorb that distress. To counter this, the intervention must be physical. Watch how the child's frequency synchronizes and smooths out to match the calm, steady rhythm of the adult. You lower your body to their eye level, soften your voice, and offer prolonged physical touch regardless of the words you use. With that physical connection established, you can share a filtered version of the truth. You acknowledge the reality that the noises are loud and scary, while firmly confirming that right now you are together and you are safe. Owning that shared vulnerability while maintaining a calm physical presence builds genuine resilience. Applying these strategies often happens in environments like this: makeshift shelters or crowded classrooms where every trace of a normal routine has vanished. In these confined spaces, parents can use targeted exercises to help kids process trauma. One is the colored island drawing technique. Asking a child to draw their ideal safe space helps parents identify the specific fears and desires their children are struggling to name. This diagram shows another tool, the emotion wheel. You assign colors to specific feelings: red for anger, yellow for fear, blue for calm. For an overwhelmed child, coloring a shape entirely yellow immediately communicates their internal state without requiring a single word. You can also reclaim physical space creatively. Throwing a blanket over a desk to create a magic tunnel gives a displaced child a tiny, defined area that they actually own and control. These micro-activities act as neurological resets, interrupting a child's panic loop and forcing the brain to engage in structured, creative tasks. As the immediate shock settles, adults can identify the other face of the crisis, the small positive adaptations that have emerged, like noticing deeper patience or more direct time spent with family. Establishing a new micro-routine is also vital. When the structure of your previous life is gone, Enforcing a strict time for a shared meal or a nightly story creates a predictable anchor in an unpredictable day. Healing often accelerates through community action. Taking on a role in a shelter or organizing activities for other families shifts the brain from a state of passive victimhood into active problem solving. Look at the sheer volume of debris in this street. The external chaos is overwhelming, and cleaning it up will take years. You cannot control when that happens. Maintaining mental health in a crisis involves the deliberate construction of a psychological shield. By weaving together routine, grounding, and deep connection, you protect the core of the family, even while the world outside remains shattered.